Here's more wrestling news for July 22nd, 2022. And we're kicking off this afternoon with AEW Dynamite, which this week had a stacked card, including a barbed wire everywhere match between Chris Jericho and Eddie Kingston. With a huge match like that, it's no wonder that the show was entirely sold out, or at least that's what AEW would have fans believe. While the commentary team said that Dynamite was sold out, pictures have emerged on social media showing many empty seats for the show. This isn't the first time Tony Khan has struggled to sell out venues, with shows in recent weeks selling poorly, including Ring of Honor's Death Before Dishonor event. For years, Khan has never shied away from poking fun at WWE for low attendances and had a lot to say when Money in the Bank 2022 was moved to a smaller venue, but we doubt the AEW president will be bringing this week's actual attendance up during his next media call. When Mauro Ranallo joined WWE, fans were thrilled with his work as a commentator, with his passion for the show going unmatched by his fellow commentators at the time. Ranallo has since left WWE and is currently calling the action for Bellator and some boxing events, but could he soon lend his voice to AEW? In a tweet, Dave Meltzer stated that there had been talks between Ranallo's management and AEW some time back, but Meltzer did not provide any more details about these talks. In some replies, fans expressed that they'd love to hear Mauro and AEW, but given that these talks were some time back, it looks like nothing ever came out of these discussions. For what it's worth, Mauro has called an AEW World title match already, commentating on the Rich Swann vs. Kenny Omega main event from Rebellion 2021, where Omega retained his title and also won the Impact World Championship. Having worked with WWE, Impact Wrestling, Bellator, and New Japan in 2015, Ranallo has proven himself, but it remains to be seen if he ever has a full-time role with AEW. One name who's in AEW is Colt Cabana, but you wouldn't exactly know it if you tuned into the show. Cabana hasn't been seen in quite some time, despite being a recognizable name in the company, and we have an update as to where he'll be. In a recent media call, Tony Khan confirmed that Colt will be in Lowell, Massachusetts this Saturday for Ring of Honor's Death Before Dishonor event, saying he has plans to have him involved. Khan didn't specify what kind of role Cabana will have, but we know that it'll come after a lengthy absence from AEW programming. Some have suggested that this is due to CM Punk, Cabana's former friend who is now also the AEW World Champion, but Khan refused to comment on the relationship between Punk and Cabana, saying that Colt will be good for ROH. Cabana and Punk were once the best of friends before legal matters broke their bond, and while he may not be appearing in AEW anytime soon, Cabana will have some undisclosed role for Death Before Dishonor. On July 31st, Ric Flair will have his final ever match, teaming with Andrade El Idolo to face Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. All four men involved are talented in their own rights, but according to Jarrett, it's not Andrade's skills that have brought him to the dance. On his My World podcast, Double J said that Andrade is only getting opportunities on a national stage because he's the husband of Ric's daughter Charlotte Flair, saying the former NXT champion has latched on to her accomplishments. While Andrade being his son-in-law may have influenced Ric's decision, the father-son-in-law duo will have a tall order on July 31st in what will mark the end of one of wrestling's most legendary careers. During the latest AEW Dynamite, rapper Kevin Gates made his presence felt, and Tony Nese will certainly remember his time on the show. During the celebration of Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland, Nese and Mark Sterling interrupted the festivities, resulting in Nese getting punched by the Kaza rapper. The segment was picked up by TMZ News, and responding to a tweet, Nese said this isn't how he pictured making his TMZ debut. To be fair, there's a lot worse ways to be the focus of TMZ, but we reckon the former WWE Cruiserweight Champion will think twice the next time he considers confronting Kevin Gates. Now, Brian Cage hasn't wrestled for AEW in a very long time, with his most recent AEW match being back in October 2021. Cage did make a brief cameo for Ring of Honor in April this year, but there's been a lot of speculation about what's going on with the former FTW champion. On Twitter, Cage commented on his situation, saying that he is not injured, despite several reports saying that he is. Cage has been wrestling outside of AEW, recently competing against Nick Wayne for the Violence X Suffering promotion in California on July 16th. The former FTW champion also appeared for AEW recently, albeit in a non-wrestling role, accompanying ROH World Champion Jonathan Gresham to the ring on the July 15th Rampage. Only time will tell when Cage has another match in AEW, but the powerhouse is not injured, despite what many people have claimed. If we know anything about Vince McMahon, it's that the ex-WWE CEO has never been afraid to get physical, with several matches and championships to his name. It turns out that McMahon's fighting spirit isn't just for TV, as on the latest DDP Snake Pit, Jake Roberts recalled a hotel room fight between McMahon and Curt Hennig. Fighting in Ric Flair's room, hardly the worst thing to happen in the room of the Nature Boy, Roberts said that the fight was a bloody mess, and when Hennig's Rolex grinded against McMahon's ear, blood shot across the room. Roberts added that McMahon's ear broke in half during the fight, and that everyone who'd come to watch raided Flair's minibar, costing the legend $600. McMahon may be worth an estimated $2.3 billion these days, but he's never been afraid to get violent, even if it meant nearly losing an ear in a San Antonio hotel room. On this week's NXT 2.0, Cora Jade explained her heel turn, saying that her tag team partner Roxanne Perez had robbed her of a shot at the NXT Women's Championship. During her segment, Jade threw her NXT Women's Tag Team title belt in the trash, saying the titles mean nothing, and WWE has responded in an unprecedented way. As confirmed on WWE.com's roster page, Jade's actions have led to her being stripped of the NXT Women's Tag Team Championship, but not Perez. Now, Perez is the sole holder of the NXT Women's Tag Team titles, with the roster page saying that vacant is her fellow champion. This marks the first time the NXT Women's Tag Team titles have ever been stripped from a superstar, and the first time just one tag title has been stripped. WWE has given no explanation as to how Perez will defend the titles or how her partner and next tag team champion will be decided, but it's certainly an interesting time for the NXT Women's Tag Team titles. Now, Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo have been a tag team for some time now, but are yet to hold championship gold in WWE. The pair have been portraying Latin lovers with a kiss cam gimmick that brings some laughs to the show, and given that they're cousins, it makes sense that they work well together. It's no secret that Angel and Humberto are related in real life, but in an interview with Sean Ross Sapp, Garza said that this is something WWE didn't know when they first tried out. Garza said how WWE should have known this, especially as they tried out for the company together and lived very close together in Orlando. There was a time when WWE reportedly saw Garza as this generation's Eddie Guerrero, but any plans for a push resembling Latino heat seem to have been dropped. But at least he can always rely on his cousin, even if WWE didn't know they were related. And we're ending today with Kurt Angle, who has led an interesting life to say the least, one that wouldn't look out of place on the big screen. This week, Kurt discussed the possibility of a film about his life and said that out of all options, he'd want WWE superstar and fellow Olympian Chad Gable to play him in the theoretical project. WWE recently obtained the rights to a documentary about Kurt Angle, which will cover his early life and journey to the company, and if they do need someone for dramatized scenes from the Hall of Famer's life, Kurt knows exactly who they should call. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.